What's up guys, this is Coach Donny from Elevate Yourself, where we change lives through volleyball, training, and inspirational content. Welcome to my volleyball coach reaction to Haikyuu Season 1, Episode 10. This is a really interesting take on Nishinoya that I didn't notice because Kageyama and Hinata went to Karasuno because of the volleyball history and they wanted to be volleyball greats. And even though Nishinoya is one of the best volleyball players on Karasuno, he chose to go there for the aesthetics. And what's ironic is you forget that it's okay to be a kid and to want to do things because you like the girls or you like the look of the school, and that's okay. I think it's also ironic that he's so competitive about volleyball. And I think he's a great example of where volleyball is just a very serious hobby and he has other things going on. Definitely gives some greater depth behind Nishinoya's personality. I'm glad I could provide some affirmation for those of you out there who have ADHD or are just very hyperactive and can't sit still. Unfortunately, our public school in the USA is only structured for a specific personality type to succeed. And the reality is there's so many other different ways of learning, different ways of engagement that get ignored along the way. And instead of providing a different learning environment for them, they are told to just sit down and be still. And I would argue that majority of humans can't do that for an extended period of time and focus. I do have a solution for that because I am a high school teacher and a coach, and I've also grown up in the public school system, but we'll have to save that for another time. I heard the amazing news that season 5 is finally coming out, and I cannot wait to watch that episode with you guys. The nice thing about actually watching all 4 seasons is that I'm not catching up anymore. So as soon as it's released, I'm gonna make a reaction video so that reaction is super fresh for all of you to enjoy. If you've been enjoying my videos, please consider supporting Elevate Yourself by leaving a super thanks comment, sign up for our Patreon where you receive access to exclusive content like early access to my Haikyu reaction videos, or purchasing some Elevate apparel. And all that money goes directly back into making better quality videos for all of you guys. Now let's get this Haikyu party started. Ooh. Look at that power. Even Kageyama said how much force. Oh, but we get the pancake from Nishinoya. Nice follow. Oh, he screamed the same thing. I am just shocked. That scene never gets old. Suga! I love how they're playing such sentimental guitar music in the scene because it is an emotional moment. Yeah, even Takeda Sensei is impressed with Asahi's power. Nice toss, Suga. Just interesting when they squeeze in English words in this. This is the first time for Hinata to see up close what it feels like to play against someone with that much power. That's right. I love that. That's what makes Hinata so special. He will acknowledge some shortcomings and challenges, but immediately already comes up with a solution. And more importantly, an unwavering determination to not let some of those shortcomings deter him from his ultimate goal of being the ace, being an impact player, and playing at the highest level possible. One thing I always try to tell the players that I coach is that the question you should always be asking is not if you can do something, it's how. 2 centimeters thick. So poetic, the slow motions, the descriptions of what's going on. Okay, it's very rare for a ball to be passed almost to the ceiling from a pancake. To make this happen, that means someone needs to spike the ball really hard into the hand, which would probably like break some bones just to make it bounce that high. So this scene is a little unrealistic. Usually a pancake bounces off the hand and maybe goes above the net if you're lucky, but it's usually going to be below the net height, so someone else has to dive afterward. But I thought that was a funny detail. Connected. Still lecturing Asahi for not putting a better effort to try harder to spike. I had to pause it here because I feel like I've seen all of Tanaka's facial expressions and they're usually, you know, something like that, some crazy, very expressive, aggressive emotion. This is the most gentle facial expression we've seen from Tanaka, and the way they've animated it is really, really, really very detailed in terms of the emotion that they're trying to express. You see how the eyebrows are kind of like an N shape, and that's usually how you communicate happiness, surprise, but generally something more on the positive end of the spectrum. Usually it's like this for Tanaka. And even the smile is not a full smile, almost like a sigh of release or just an acknowledgement of something really life-changing in that moment. But we're not going to see this type of expression from Tanaka very often, so I wanted to enjoy it for a little longer. See, there we go back to the eyebrows there. Very rarely do you see Tanaka yell at Hinata. That's a really cute observation from Takeda Sensei. It's like, oh, we should just do that every time now, and Nishinoya can save the ball. But you probably really only save the ball off of a block cover maybe 20% of the time. Let me explain what Coach Uka is explaining to Takeda Sensei, kind of like the deeper meaning behind the explanation. Part of the effectiveness of a hitter is being free to be aggressive, because aggression in the long term usually will win games. You do want to tip occasionally and roll shot, but 80% of the time you should be spiking at your maximum power with direction. That means like placing it somewhere. But if you have any moment of hesitation, like that 5 or 10% doubt, that actually decreases your arm speed, it decreases your accuracy, you become rigid, you think too much, and then usually that creates an error, or you don't spike as hard or as accurately as you usually do. So when you have a team, especially libero, that has your back, which is what Coach Ukai is saying, it really does relieve some of that doubt to where you can freely swing, because you are trusting that if you do get blocked, your team is there to cover for you and get another opportunity. And that's really important to understanding the psychology of a hitter and a defender and the relationship together, that they do back each other up. Nice up! Inoshita, we haven't seen him in a while. Daichi's twin. Am I the only one who thinks Inoshita looks like Daichi? Oh, this is the first time they see the back freak quick. And Coach Ukai does not even know what he saw. Everyone else is so used to seeing it, but the people who haven't, like Nishinoya, Asahi, everyone is shocked. So there's a difference between surprised and shocked. Coach Ukai, downward eyebrows, but still got that curve, large eyes, and mouth open. That's a textbook shocked facial expression. And then yelling at him because he doesn't understand how this happened. That's great steady technique by Kageyama though. You see how even his hands are. We'll probably do some slow-mos of that in the future. I really like that soundtrack where they slowly strum the electric guitar during moments of intense thought. Genius. That's another interesting description. I think I would use the word phenom. Genius usually has something to do with your mind, but Kageyama is also physically gifted. Not if you're meant for each other. Dang, Asahi's hand is huge. Look at that. I think it's actually properly portioned because Asahi's supposed to feel like that meaty, large person, but even in the small detail, they didn't have to do that. They could have just easily had two of the same hands giving high fives, but they took the time to make Asahi's skin tone a little darker and his hand a little bit meatier. Now, Coach Ukai is scheming. He knows that it's great to have two setters with different strengths. He did. Takeda Sensei did tell him over and over again. And I forgot how Coach Ukai comes to the conclusion that he should be the other middle, referring to Hinata. The little giant. I just wish they would have... I just had an idea. One thing that would be really cool if they had a prologue episode where they have one episode that actually preceded season 1, like a season 0, but just 1 or 2 episodes. A series of the life of the little giant and his volleyball progression. Wouldn't that be awesome? Am I the only one that thinks that would be a cool idea? Because we only know so much about this shadowy figure. Aww. Ooh, giving signals. Parallel toss, that means setting a go. Really flat, fast set. Nice receiver. Oh, get a soft block from Hinata. I think it would have been funny if like Hinata's hand had a huge bruise after that so he can physically experience the power of Asahi. Hinata's just too in awe of this meaty, big-bodied ace. Man, it's so interesting that this is the Japanese men's national team. So many parallels between this team and the real national Japanese team. Kageyama is not impressed. Maybe he feels like it's a waste of time to try to explain something to him because he's not mature enough to process all that. Hinata has not become the ball boy yet. Man, look at that whole head above the net, and he jumps well. He's gonna get hit in the face soon. I totally forgot about that. So awesome. All the daydreaming. We gotta watch that again. I like how they just pause for a moment, just a stillness to build up the anxiety. This animation is so good. Punching here and then falling back. And you see how the feet and knees are still in place, but his whole body is like that delayed motion we talked about. The head, shoulders, whips back, and then the body flies. And he's like kind of like floating away like he's already dead, like a spirit. Oh, so well animated. I forgot if Suki is empathetic. Nope, he's not. Look at that. Everyone here is crowded around Hinata except for Kageyama and Suki because they're like, whatever. Yep. This is back in the day before they had concussion protocol, but if you feel dizzy or lightheaded after you get hit in the face, you definitely should not continue playing. You should get evaluated for concussion. Oh, Akuma is boiling. I like the way Hinata backs up. Oh, Kageyama is actually trying to understand. Kageyama is very perceptive. I think it's awesome that ever since Suga challenged Kageyama to be more empathetic, not just as a setter, but as a person, like he's really taken that role to be a more empathetic person, because instead of just saying, you know, Hinata, you're an idiot, he's saying, hey, I know exactly what you're thinking. That's not the way to go about becoming an ace. You still have a really important role on the team, even if you're not the ace. But then he goes all the way back to scolding him still. That is true. Ui. And I like that Hinata's having this internal dialogue where he's saying, well, I got mad at Kageyama, but I really was the one that messed up in the match, so you can't get mad at someone for pointing out the truth. Ano. I love that. Alright. Hinata gets the serve water ball in the first try. I forgot those fun scenes where Nishiyori interrupts the serve. But yeah, I like that. Kageyama is saying, now it's time to test the limit of Hinata. And he's asking for forgiveness for a cocky attitude. This is what I do for my kids when I'm coaching them. Sometimes if I want to really see someone's limit and see how they respond to greater pressure and difficulty, that's the only way to see someone's true skill. Maybe he's trying to see if Hinata's going to change direction or be a smart hitter. And maybe he's trying to show Hinata the limitation of his skill if you just go up and blindly hit. Asahi cannot take a compliment. This is Kageyama's dream, just to have someone that's going to fully commit to his sets. Oh, this is where he takes a random route. And then change direction. Is it gonna change direction? I might have to try this. And my next volleyball coach tries Hinata's techniques. Because he's going far left and then all the way doing a slide. Ah, look at that contact. Ball landing into the hand. Oh, that was a beautiful scene. We gotta appreciate this ball compression. I know we talked a lot about ball compression on the floor, but when the ball hits the hand, it should compress and flatten out slightly towards where the palm is, and that's exactly what a palm looks like. Actually, let's just grab a ball here. What do you know? We got the same colored ball. Look at that. Actually, it's really with the thumb. There we go. That's exactly what it looks like. They use some very accurate reference images for this anime here. And look at that. This is that classic anime poster where they just have this really intense, sad emotion, but then they're holding a sword or like casting some spell. That like moment of calm. I like it's just saying you're no ace. I think it's also telling him that, look, you can't try to play the same way as someone else who's not built like you. Man, Kageyama's so intense that he's drawing everyone into his monologue. Wow, he's breathing heavily after that speech. I wonder if Hinata actually believes that, or was he just saying that just to get Kageyama off his back? But all it took was a compliment from Asahi. By the way, this is a coach's dream to have players that want to finish battling out and are taking ownership of their own competitive nature and involvement in the team. The fact that Kageyama takes it upon himself to carve out a role for Hinata and help him understand why his role is important, that is true ownership. This is rare. I wonder why he's doing this, like he's got bad breath or something. How cruel, because they didn't get to meet each other earlier. The jump floater. Yamaguchi's future. From the outside, it's hard to appreciate why a jump float or float serve is so effective. I think I explained this in my last reaction video, but because the air doesn't get displaced equally, but if you don't execute it well, it becomes really easy to pass, so having no spin is very, very critical. Yeah, you can't run a quick attack without a good pass. And it's planting seeds in Yamaguchi's head. Triple block. Decoy, nobody up. Oh, that was a smooth dive. Oh, and Asahi confidently calls it. Breaking through the block again. It reminds me of myself. I have a very weak block. I put my hands up and I just feel like people are just crushing it through my hands. The ultimate decoy. This is a very true statement because one thing I love about playing against some of the local club teams, even some high school teams, there's just this pure innocent energy that you don't get as much playing adult volleyball. Just that pure love for the game, that sheer love for learning and wanting to compete and play all the time. I love playing against that type of energy because it just keeps you alive and reminds you of why you still play the sport. Yeah, high school kids, they do say some intense things. I like that Karasuno still values what the older adult team has to say. Look at this jacket here. All this incredible detail of the wrinkles. We got the corner of the shoulder pad, the collar partially zipped, all the way down to the nice wrinkle of the fold here. You really do get to feel like you can go out and grab that jacket, or you just want to rustle it a little bit. That's how real it feels. Stretchy! It's hard to understand what a good pass is if you're not familiar with volleyball. Yeah, it's hard to choose a starting lineup and who's on your roster. Okay, so I guess Hinata is buying into his role. Maybe he's just being respectful to Asahi, who is the ace of the team and doesn't want to overstep his bounds. Asahi has such a gentle tone when he talks. And I think he's also affirming that, hey, Kageyama really cares about your role in the team, so that's something special that your setter is willing to talk to you about that. This is such a huge confidence builder for Hinata. Everyone's telling him that he has such an important role. Yeah, even Suga's gotten some confidence back. He came into the team accepting that Kageyama's going to be better, but now he's going to try to fight for a spot. Notice that everyone's wearing a jacket except for Nishinoi and Hinata. I wonder if there's any symbolism in that, or if that's just what they wanted to do to make things a little different. Food time. Oh, this is where we get to see the creepy sleepover. It's been long since we've seen some food on Haikyuu. Here are my immediate thoughts to episode 10. I didn't realize that this entire episode was almost predicated on Hinata's character development and coming to realization of how important his role is as a decoy, quick attack, and how that fits into the entire team. And what's interesting is that his reason for wanting to play volleyball is wanting to be the ace of the team. And it's okay for your goals and your desires to change over time. Just make sure you let yourself evolve as your desires and maturity and experiences change. I think sometimes we hold on too tightly to what we originally wanted out of certain experiences, that we don't open up ourselves to bigger and better experiences that we can learn from other people. So that's one lesson we can learn from Hinata in this episode. Also, seeing the growth of Kageyama developing into a more empathetic person. He can still work on the way he talks, but we know that that'll come later. But I think he's doing a much better job of putting himself in other people's shoes. Otherwise, he would have never taken the time to try to understand the perspective of where Hinata's coming from and explaining it in a way that Hinata can understand. I'm super excited for season 5. If you know the exact release date of when we can watch that first episode, if it's going to be on Crunchyroll, hopefully, let me know in the comments below.